Narcolepsy, a chronic neurological condition in which the brain is not able to control sleep-wake cycles normally. Well, there you go. What does that mean? In a nutshell, narcolepsy is losing the ability to sleep like a normal person. In other words, your sleep-wake cycles, when they're thrown out of whack, you're going to start sleeping during the day, and that takes away your ability to sleep properly at night. But it's more than that. Narcolepsy is a lot of things that is just barely touching the surface. I pulled all of this information from the internet. That's sleep doctor's definition of a chronic neurological condition in which the brain's not able to sleep-wake cycle normally. Okay, I get that. Interesting. So 1 in 2,000 people get it, so that's pretty rare. And 50% are undiagnosed. So that's kind of why I'm making this video. I've been diagnosed for about 6 years now. I developed it when I was 15. And so I remember what it was like before narcolepsy. And there's 5 main symptoms. I'm going to walk through them now, kind of their definition of it, and then I'm going to really explain what it's like. And some of their definitions I think are rather good. The first is excessive daytime sleepiness. Always exhausted, difficulty concentrating, poor memory. I included excessive hunger because for some reason I get really hungry all the time. I think it's because my body thinks lack of energy, lack of nutrition. If I eat more, I'll have more energy, but that's not the problem. So I just eat, and yet I could eat 7 meals and I'll still be hungry. And mood changes. So that's all under excessive daytime sleepiness. There's going to be people that are going to be like, oh, but yeah, I'm sleepy during the day too. Am I narcoleptic? Probably not. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just being sleepy during the day. It's you're always tired. Always. You could sleep 12 hours and wake up and within another 30 minutes you're tired again. You could take naps all during the day and you'll still be tired. And then we end up like not being able to sleep at night, but that's coming later. And I kind of explain it like, have you ever woken up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and someone comes in and tries to like talk to you, or your mom tries to tell you something? You're not all there. You're grumpy. You can't process yet. You got to take a minute to like think, and you're just kind of catching up to yourself. And sometimes you don't remember a lot of things they may have told you because you weren't awake yet. That's kind of what it's like all the time. I remember a lot of school was really rough because I couldn't remember, and work too. But anyway, the next is cataplexy. Okay, cataplexy is a big deal. They describe it as the weakness of muscle when you feel strong emotions like embarrassment, laughter, surprise, anger. Cataplexy can cause your head to drop, your face to droop, your jaw to weaken, arms to shake, knees to give away, and attacks can cause collapsing, and not all narcoleptics have cataplexy. So let's kind of unpack that. The weakness of muscles, very accurate. If you didn't know what cataplexy was, which a lot of people don't, even a lot of doctors don't know what it is, it looks like seizures. The main difference between why it's not a seizure is, one, you have to be narcoleptic to get it, but also you're awake. A lot of like grand mal seizures, you're unconscious, but this you're awake for, and it's only someone that has cataplexy would be able to really tell you, but you feel it coming. Like, it's hard to describe, but you know when it's going to happen, and you know when it's going to be bad. It's hard to really describe, but it's true. Like, I said kind of like adrenaline things, like video games were really hard. Sports were like impossible. I was a big tennis player, and tennis was awful. Even like Bug House, which is like really quick extreme chess, that was really hard too. And I mean, I've collapsed on several occasions. I've had many smaller attacks on several occasions. And so it's definitely like laughter was a big one. A big one. So was anger, but I didn't get angry as much. But like, I got angry at this guy really bad one time and then just like fell. And so yeah, I mean, that's very accurate. And the whole description, your head drop, face droop. You ever seen The Grudge? You're like, you do that. I mean, and it's hard to focus because there's just so much going on. Unless you just stop and like really let it pass, you're going to end up collapsing. And the problem is once you collapse, I'm not able to get back up very quickly. I don't know if other people have had that experience, but like after I fall over, it's like, I mean, you shake a lot, and it takes me a little while before I can get back up. Yeah, so moving on, sleep disruption. This one's kind of tricky, because it's like falling asleep. We fall asleep really quickly, actually unnaturally fast. REM, rapid eye movement, is like the dream-like state. It's very deep sleep, REM, you can call it, and it usually takes 100 minutes for the average person to go into. I was clocked at like 2 seconds. It took me 2 seconds, like when I was being tested for it, to go into REM. That is too fast. That's like one of the main problems, is that we're going into it so quickly that our body doesn't, I guess, adapt to it, or there's just something wrong, because as fast as I go into it is how fast I can get out of it. And so I don't have that like deep sleep like a lot of people do, and it's very choppy. We wake up a lot, we'll fall asleep a lot, we'll wake up a lot, we'll fall asleep a lot, and so it's just, that's one reason why we're probably tired. It's just because we don't sleep well either. Except during the day. I sleep pretty well during the day, but I'm still tired either way, so it doesn't matter. And sleep paralysis. Okay, so that's number 4. That's interesting. I've experienced this as well. Again, it's hard to describe. It usually only happens to me when I'm falling, like starting to dream, or like waking up from one. And I'll get into that in a second, the dream thing. But it's, you can't move, you can't speak, like you're like locked in place, almost like you're being restrained by like a harness. You can't move, and it's actually kind of scary. I mean, this whole thing is scary, to be honest with you. But that, like, these last two are the most terrifying in my opinion. The cataplexy is rough. I've learned to deal with it. The medication I take really helps, but these last two took a long time to get used to. And hallucinations, they're bad. Like, really bad. I mean, I'm not a schizophrenic. I'm sure schizophrenics have a worse experience, but because we are asleep, but we don't know that we are. And I remember what it was like to have just regular dreams before having narcolepsy, and I thought I was possessed for like a long time. Like, I wasn't diagnosed until like 3 years into having narcolepsy. I swore I was possessed, because it's just, you're where you were before you fell asleep. What happening to you is where you were. Everything is as it was. If you're in a room of people, all those people are still there, and then like shit just gets crazy. And I mean, sometimes like the mild ones, if I was like in a room and I ended up falling asleep, sometimes something would be said that wasn't said, and I don't know what it was. But a lot of times it's like there's some sort of monster kind of torturing you. Like, that's what I have. It's like a tormentor kind of thing. I mean, I've been like tortured. I've been kind of like, there's like times I've been like raped. There's times that like, I mean, there's like pain, like stabbing, and weird ones. Like, I remember I was getting like my body was getting like sewn, like it was sticking a needle and then pulling the thread, and kind of like those little doll toy things that or like the little cards that as children you would kind of like put the little thread and needle in. It was kind of like all over my body, and it hurt, but it also felt weird when like the string was going through it. And the weirdest part was I didn't remember waking up. And for a while after I was walking around awake, I still felt it. Like, that's crazy. I mean, that's not like normal dreams. That's just messed up. I mean, that's all I can think about it. And I've started keeping a journal of like all of these dream experiences I have, and they're so bizarre. But apparently it's a thing. So, I mean, I don't know. I was happy to know I wasn't crazy. So that made me happy, and I wasn't possessed, as far as I know. But again, it's not like it's fun, and I now you just kind of cope with it because there's nothing you can do. I mean, narcolepsy doesn't just go away; it never will, and the medicine helps, but it really helps, but it doesn't fix it, so it wears off, and then you're back at like you were before, and it's hard to get. Like, I'm on Vyvanse, it really helps. If you think you have narcolepsy, get tested. If any of these things, and I'm going to talk a little more about it, if any of these things you kind of register with, I would really consider going to a sleep doctor and get tested. There is medication that helps. I mean, the Vyvanse that I'm on now really helps cataplexy, really helps narcolepsy, and it reminds me of what I was like before I had it. So that's a big deal to me. It makes life just more manageable. But it's really humiliating. Like, that's a big thing. And, I mean, I'm extroverted. If you're introverted and you have it, I bet it's really hard. Because it's embarrassing. I mean, I've been called lazy. I've been, like, people have told me that I need to get off the drugs. Like, you know, clean up your act. And I'll be like, dude, if you knew what you were saying, you would feel horrible. But, just some of the kind of things that I've noticed is, like, you get very emotional. Like, when you're just, like, that tired and stuff, it's not like you're just, like, really dramatic, but, like, you get really lonely. I do, at least. I feel really lonely, like, angry, like, really depressed. It's just because you can't think properly. So, I mean, anxiety attacks. I get a lot of anxiety attacks. I got, for some reason, really bad headaches. I don't know why. It's just, whenever it's like sleeping. I would sleep so much and just wake up with horrible headaches. So I don't know what's going on there. That's probably not a good thing. Like bad memory, I forget a lot of things. Or someone would tell me something, and if I'm like partially asleep, I don't know that you're talking to me. I mean, sometimes I might not even hear anything. I got into a huge fight with my mom once because she wouldn't tell me where my invisible spray was. I told her I put it on before work every day. The crazy thing was, I was 100% serious. I mean, that's crazy. What's invisible spray? Why would I put it on before work? Why do you need it? I mean, it's like a cartoon, like SpongeBob. It stains clothes. I don't know if you ever saw that. But I got so mad because I was 100% serious. I needed my invisible spray. It was in the laundry room. I knew where it was. Always in the laundry room. Again, you couldn't convince me otherwise. It's hard to concentrate as well. I found that hard in the workplace a lot, like planning out steps and procedures. I forget, just because I'm so tired. You're so tired. You can't focus. Again, cataplexy is like seizures. I mean, those are the main things. And again, it's hard to really describe a lot of what it feels like, a lot of what we go through, but it needs to be talked about. There's these common misconceptions about it, like all those videos of you passing out. Like, I want to set one thing straight. We don't collapse. Like, not from narcolepsy. I mean, like, all those videos of someone being like, ugh, like that, okay, that doesn't happen. I mean, I've been walking down a street, fall asleep, and still keep walking. I don't collapse. My body keeps on moving. It keeps on moving, even if I'm asleep. I mean, in school, I would be writing, and I'd fall asleep. And then wake back up and fall asleep. And my body keeps writing. I mean, it's not legible. I mean, it'd be cool if it was. My paper could write itself. But, or that unconscious brain thing that the psychologists talk about. But we don't just collapse. That's what I get mad about those videos. Like, that doesn't happen. Cataplexy that can happen. You can collapse, but you're awake. You're not asleep. Cataplexy, you are awake. I kind of joke about the whole, like, staying awake at night thing, because it's hard to sleep at night. That we're training to be, like, vigilantes, like Batman. We're getting, naturally becoming nocturnal. So that's something you can joke about if you need a good laugh. But, yeah, the common misconceptions, no one knows what cataplexy is. That was hard diagnosing it at first, because people had mentioned narcolepsy because of those symptoms, but then there was this whole other can of worms with, like, the shaking and the falling over, and cataplexy. So that's what that is. And I developed it my sophomore year of high school, and it was crazy. Like, I just remember really kind of being kind of ostracized, just kind of looked at differently. And but there is good news, and I'm just gonna throw this out there, that I've been able to really relate and really kind of help a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have kind of mental disorders, schizophrenics, bipolar. I mean, there's like post-traumatic disorder, or whatever they call it, OCD. There's a lot of disorders, and so it kind of gives you kind of common ground. And one thing that I really struggled with at first was that I wanted people to pity me. I wanted pity. I wanted to, just because life became so difficult, I felt I was owed it. But then I realized that no one gives you pity when you just wallow around and do nothing. When you're just trying to have your pity party, no one cares. In fact, they're more likely to shun you for that. So what I decided to do was I was going to work hard. I was going to be successful. I was going to take this thing I'm dealing with, look at it in a positive light, that I can help others and be narcoleptic, and I'm going to be successful. And you know what? People notice that. That is what inspires people. Those rag to riches stories, that really inspires people because they can relate to that. We all have struggles. Some of us just have worse than others, but overcoming that makes you so much stronger. I mean, if I didn't have narcolepsy and I didn't have to fight this and every day to be successful, I mean, there's so many hurdles that I may not have been able to overcome. I mean, I think about that, and that we can be a light to people. We can inspire and help people because we are challenged. We have a difficulty in things that a lot of people will never have to, and some people may have worse. But I think I have it for a reason. I don't think there's anything that happens without purpose. And if not, I'm gonna give it purpose. I mean, anyone can just sit around and wallow and say, "Oh, woe is me. It's a hard not life. I don't know what I'm going to do." Yeah, I've been there. I have. But it doesn't get you anywhere. And at the end of the day, it's a waste of time. You're not going to feel any better. Nothing's going to happen. No one's going to care. Your mom might care. Your dad might care, maybe. Probably not. I mean, care less. Mom will care. But no one else will. But you know what people will care about is when you can provide and show them a way of being successful with a hurdle like that. Like, that is something that can really change people. Because there's a lot of people that are hurting. But being open about narcolepsy and cataplexy, if you have it, and sharing that with people, I mean, a lot of people have opened up to me and told me what they struggle with because of it. So there's still hope. There's a good side to it, and it's not all bad. If you think you might have it, I'd consider getting tested, and it can really help. Talk to people. I mean, I'm on several Facebook pages with narcoleptics, and it really helps to talk to people with common ground. So if you have any questions about narcolepsy, cataplexy, hallucinations, anything, comment, like, subscribe if you like. I do a lot of card game videos and stuff like that. But I'm Will, and I'm narcoleptic. See you later.